What's up, y'all?
Yo, how's it going, guys? What's up? Welcome to the second part of my 3-part series. I think it's probably going to be on why all new games are coming out broken. And honestly, couldn't really be a better time for this. There's a few examples that have come out lately that I can use. But if you watch the first part of this series, you'd know that that was mostly about, the money gap between the highs and the lows in the business, as well as the horrible mistreatment of employees. This part's going to be about something that a lot of you think might not be that big of a deal, but it really actually is in the scheme of things. And that's the hype around video games and all of the attention they get before they come out. And with the Game Awards yesterday, we just got a fresh taste of all the new hype. And some of it is pretty
Juicy.
That Senua's Saga Hellblade looks pretty badass, but it suffers from one of my biggest pet peeves in all of gaming. Game trailers that show very little or no gameplay in them. And then they load it up with amazing voice acting. For example, the main character, the girl in it, has the best voice acting. It's like, holy shit.
Do it! I'm here! I'm here! Ready! Get ready! Attack! Attack now! Again!
That's going to be great. But it's like you can't believe that what you see in that cinematic trailer is going to be what you see in the game. There's just no way we can believe that. But the game looks amazing. It looks like some caveman acid trip. It looks really cool. I wanted to do a little correction because I said there was no gameplay in this clip, but I think there is a couple sections of gameplay. After watching that trailer a couple times, I noticed where gameplay was coming in. There were a few cutscenes that did have gameplay between them, but with that Unreal Engine, that new one, it's kind of hard to tell. But a lot of people won't even care or even notice if there's gameplay footage in there or not, because that trailer was so good. They cinematically filmed that perfectly, with the giant chasing her out of the cave and everybody in chaos. I mean, it was a great attention-getting trailer. But again, that's all it was, is a trailer. It might as well be a movie. But sadly enough, it was my favorite announcement for any game that they announced during the Game Awards. But that's exactly what I mean about the hype. It gets me. Even though I'm making videos about this crap, I'm not immune to it. It gets me just as bad as it gets all you guys. But I just try to be aware of it and try to be aware of when it's happening to me. And if I want to pre-order something, think about it twice and be like, what else am I getting other than just the game? And I'll say this again, since some of y'all may not have watched my other videos, but the only reason we used to pre-order was because games would be gone in the stores. If you tried to go buy them on release day, they'd be all sold out. And pre-ordering was the only way to make sure you would get a game. And now that you can always download the game, there's unlimited copies of it, why pre-order unless they're offering you extra stuff or extra things in-game that you can't get by playing the game? Basically, when you pre-order a game, you're paying their marketing department and telling them that they did such an awesome job that they basically can give you a shitty game and you don't care because you want this game so bad. And today you don't even get anything extra for pre-ordering. I mean, back in the day you used to get a Master Chief helmet or something if you pre-ordered the game. Today, I mean, you almost get nothing.
Let's see what's in the box! Nothing! Absolutely nothing! Stupid! You're so stupid!
The last game I can think of that even offered a reward for pre-ordering was Forza Horizon 5, because they offer a whole bunch of cars if you pre-order. And you got the game 4 days early too if you pre-ordered Forza Horizon 5. And yeah, I can understand pre-ordering if you get extra stuff, like you get expansions or something later, or you you'll get skins in the game or maybe a few free guns or something. But back in the 90s and early 2000s, I mean, you'd get the craziest crap for pre-order bonuses, depending on where you were pre-ordering the game at. Like Best Buy would have a different pre-order bonus than GameStop and stuff like that. I mean, hell, one game in the 90s even gave out like a little punching nun puppet as something that came with their pre-order. It's wild. Because, I mean, so many of these games can literally pay every single bill they ever had during development before the game even comes out because of all the pre-orders. I mean, Cyberpunk made their money back and more on all the pre-orders because they pushed the game back so many times. I mean, they had 8 million pre-orders before the game even dropped, which if you multiply 8 million by 60, it's $480 million they made off of just pre-sales. I mean, no wonder the game wasn't finished. Why finish the game when you've already made $500+ million and all your bills are paid? It's like, let's just give them what we got and call it good. And honestly, with the way this game was hyped, I don't think they would have even sold more copies if the game was good. I think they were kind of going to make the same amount of money either way at that point. It had been in production for so long, the maximum amount of hype was delivered. And even after all the hate, they're still winning game awards. I mean, I don't know what else to even say. Because I'm pretty sure they're thinking of it as a success, even though maybe the gaming community's not. But I mean, who's coming home with the trophies? Not us.
To you, the children, to me, the dollar signs. No!
So what's happened now is they've literally been rewarded for the job they did. So how is there any motivation to release a game any better than they did Cyberpunk? I mean, it's just amazing. You can see the circle happening before it even happens.
It's circular. It's like a carousel. You pay the quarter, you get on the horse. It goes up and down and around. Circular, circle, with the music, the flow.
Well, and this spreads to other companies too. Like EA will see this and be like, oh, we can just do that as well. And I mean, Rockstar's followed suit in their last one. So the bad news is, I mean, I don't see any end in sight for this kind of trend for games to come out broken. Especially right now with all the allegations piling up at all these companies. And now the breast milk thing I heard about today. Oh my God. Just when I thought I can't get any worse.
Breast milk, you made my day.
So until that whole mess clears up, that's all we're going to get.
That's it. That's it. That is it.
I'm going to keep pushing for that video game quality protection agency. And I think the more I talk about it, the more I'm going to turn people on to that idea too. Because I do believe, honestly, there is a formula to how to make a good game and little things that go into it. And we lost a lot of those in the 90s and early 2000s. Things like every PC game used to come with a demo. And you could play the demo. It's like the first level, or it would be like a boss battle. And you could play the demo before you played the game. And nearly every game developer pushed out a demo for their new game. And wouldn't you know it, thank the gods, I saw this in the new Game Awards too. With that new Matrix game, that released a free demo for everybody to play on that new Unreal Engine. And holy hell, that looks great. And how smart of Epic Games to release a demo for that. Genius idea. That's going back to old school games. Like, people my age will remember the Half-Life demo. When that Half-Life demo dropped and we were all still playing Doom and Duke Nukem, I mean, damn, that changed gaming instantly. That day, it changed. I mean, that did it for Valve too. They didn't even have to work on selling Half-Life after that. Basically, everybody had either pre-ordered it in their head at that point or literally just pre-ordered it from Valve. I even had 2 of my friends' parents buy computers just so they could play the new Half-Life when it came out, because they saw us playing the demo and thought it was so cool. And that kind of hype worked on everybody. It didn't matter what you thought. You were going to get that game. But the thing is, Half-Life wasn't disappointing. It didn't disappoint anybody. It was an amazing game. And the demo let people almost feel that instantly. So they pretty much knew what they were getting into. But to go back to my first example of Hellblade 2, when you don't show me any gameplay footage in a trailer, or so little gameplay that I have a hard time distinguishing it from the cinematics, I'm kind of thinking in my head, you don't even have enough of a game built to push out a demo. Which is understandable. I mean, if you're not releasing the game till like a year and a half, 2 years later, you may not have enough, built to push out a demo or even gameplay footage. Why are you even showing me the game this early too then? Why do I need to know about it 2 years in advance unless you're planning on getting me to buy it now? I would definitely consider this another poisonous practice in gaming where they just shove it down your throat, just the idea of a game, even though they don't even have an idea of what it is yet. That's why so many of these games are forced to change direction completely during production. And that's like one of the main problems these game developers complain about, is that management will come by, with 2 months left, 3 months left in the project and be like, I don't like the way this story's working out. I mean, could you make it darker? And so like they'll have to change it. And it was the main reason for the bugginess in some of those Telltale games back in 2018. In an interview in GameIndustry.biz, one of the developers on the team talks about what happened, and she says, as a person who's been on that small team of lead writers and narrative designers redoing things, let me tell you that it can be catastrophic for the rest of the team, said Buck. We're often at Telltale, after executive reviews, had to do 90% rewrites of the game. She also states that rewriting anywhere between 60 and 90% of a game was a common occurrence, sometimes days before being sent off for certification. I mean, that's just unacceptable. And even more so in a game like the Telltale series, where basically the entire game is just story. There's very little mechanics being programmed into those games, so I don't understand how the story wasn't something that was kind of figured out before everybody started. But I'm not a game developer. I don't know the usual process for these kind of things. If the game companies are going to hire these artists, they need to.
Now shut the fuck up and let me do my job.
The way that they see fit for the audience, because, I mean, isn't that what you hired them for, is to create? It feels like the old adage, too many cooks in the kitchen idea. Like, why is anybody else even giving creative input? There shouldn't even be an outlet for that, even. I don't care if you're the CEO or not. No. You don't see the owners of NFL teams out there putting on pads and showing them how it's done. So don't get in the way of the gamer creation talent either, And this is another thing I think the Video Game Protection Agency could protect against, is things like, no changing game story within 4 months of the deadline or when release is. Or even just rules over like who is in charge of creation or who gets to input in the creative process, These aren't like exact examples of what I think should be done, but they're just ideas of how to delegate tasks better, because the industry seems like it can't do it. It just seems like roles need to be defined better. When you read articles and interviews from people inside the industry, it sounds like everybody's trying to do everybody else's job. And that kind of stuff needs to be in the contract. It really wouldn't take much to change all of these things too, is what's crazy. It's just going to take consent from both sides, which is not likely to happen. Well, since the industry is not likely to change, the only power we have is to change what we do, with things like not pre-ordering, and by continuing to call out these shady practices and these things we don't like about the industry. Everybody should speak up as much as they can, because it's the only way we're going to even make some sort of impact. And we don't have to worry. It's not like the gaming industry is going anywhere. It's just mutating into a frail shell of what it could be.
Look at me walk.
Oh my God. Well, despite this,
there is hope. But yeah, the moral of the story is we got to all do our part to only pre-order games if it's actually worth it and you're getting something else in return, or please don't pre-order at all. But that's it for now. I'll see y'all in part 3, and I'll leave you with this.
Civil rights activist Doc Martens Luther King once said, "Take ye sleazy,